All right, afternoon, VC. Okay. So yesterday was the big Black Friday record store day. We're also celebrating 20 years of Lunchbox Records here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Of course, owned and operated by Scott Wishart. He's had some great folks working for him there over the years. He's got a really good staff right now at the current location. It's a go-to record store in Charlotte for a lot of reasons, and we'll get into that. I'm going to highlight some of my favorite finds from there over the years. Show a bunch of records here. Now I've known Scott for longer than he's had the shop. I met him in the vinyl department at Manifest Records. That was on South Boulevard. He worked there before opening Lunchbox, and that's where I struck up conversation with him and became close with him because he was good about letting me know when there was good stuff in the store and making recommendations, and we had a lot of similar tastes in music. And I'll never forget him pointing out, hey, we got a bunch of great 7-inches in, and I got this from Manifest when he was there. Soundgarden, Outshined, original 7-inch picture disc. I've never seen this since finding it there, and that's thanks to Scott. Outshined on the A, and I Can't Give You Anything on the B. Now, he originally, I think the name of the store came from the label in Atlanta, Lunchbox. I think it may have something to do with his brother with that label, but I can't remember the whole origin story. But I know that they put out a lot of great local stuff and down there, and you got Car versus Driver out of a Silent Sky. They found some dead stock of this that he sold a few years back that I picked up, and it shows the Lunchbox label. He still uses that logo as one of the logos. Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia. Great band. If you don't know Car versus Driver, this is good stuff. Now, the old location, when he opened it, it was really exciting because we really didn't have a whole lot to choose from here in Charlotte as far as record stores, and he carried a lot of what I was into. And here's just a couple records that I, pulled from the old location, and he had a nice little stage in the back there and had a lot of great shows there. I filmed some great shows there, like Look Mexico from Florida, for example. Still the most views of anything I've ever posted on this channel in 18 years is some of the live footage of that Look Mexico gig. Shit ton of views. They were great band out of Tallahassee. But yeah, this one I'll never forget finding there because I didn't know this existed, and it is a bootleg, but it's Nirvana, and this is Illiteracy Will Prevail on the Club 188 label. Again, a boot, but it's very early Nirvana recordings. So it's got like Sound of Dentage, some nasty stuff from the Fecal Matter demos, and it's got Montage of Heck on it. I love this. This is really raw Nirvana stuff. I've never seen this since. Yeah, this is all from shit. Yeah, 1985, the Fecal Matter demo. So I mean, this goes way back to the origins with Nirvana. So I love that record that I got at the old location. And then I got this original. The first time I got into Pelican, I found this there. The great instrumental heavy band from Chicago, Australasia, an original pressing. I got this at the old location. And great artwork on this. Not my favorite record of theirs, to be honest. So they've definitely evolved and gotten better after this, and this is on that blue. Yeah. Really happy to have that. And the most important thing, though, I ever got from the old Lunchbox location, I walked in there one night just to look around, and he was playing this in the store because he was always playing something. And I heard this, and I was blown away at what I was listening to. It was so good. Really killer guitars. And I was like, hey, man, what's this playing? And he goes, oh, Shanty Road. And he's just got some very matter-of-fact type of guy. And I'm like, okay, well, where's it from? He's like, oh, Barcelona. I'm like, really? It's like, I'm like, do you have this? He's like, yeah, sure. He walks over and puts a copy in my hand. And I'm like, he goes, yeah, it's on the B-Core label, Barcelona punk label. And he's like, yeah, they have other stuff too, though. And he showed me a CD of probably the new Ramon or something else. I forget what it was. But yeah, this is from 2002. And he was getting all this stuff from Stick Figure, a distributor in Atlanta. They were carrying all the B-Core stuff, and he let me know that, which was nice of him, because then I ended up buying a lot straight from Stick Figure. Sorry, Scott. But this record changed my life. It really did. I now have friends on this that work for this label in Barcelona. I got to go over there and meet a lot of people involved with the bands, and yeah, just life-changing shit. And still a favorite find in any record store ever, right here. Incredible stuff from Spain. So then you move to, the new location, which was really exciting because, to get a bigger spot, I figured, okay, the floodgates are going to open on what he's got in the storage space. We're going to get, and it's been great over the years, the new location. I'll just show some records that I've found in the bins and on the wall and things like that. We'll try to move through these quickly. A lot of great records you can find there used. But it like I said, it is a go-to for new, but here's some of the great used I found at Lunchbox over the years. Was really stoked when I found this in the bins. Omar Rodriguez Lopez Quintet, The Apocalypse Inside of an Orange. I mean, look at this cover art. Of course, Omar from At the Drive-In and the Mars Volta. This is an incredible fucking record, and it's the only time I've ever found it. This one's funny because I walked in. Usually I stop in there at night when I get off of work. They close at 6, and I get there at like 5:20 or something like that. And I was in there, and there's only 2 other guys in the whole store that night. And I saw this in the used, and I thought about it, and I decided, let me wait and see what else is in here first. And that guy ends up pulling it, has it under his arm. I'm like, well, shit. So I kind of just started stalking the guy. I went over to the CDs, making it look like I was going through the CDs, waiting to see if he was actually going to buy it. And he ended up finding some other stuff and putting it back. So I went up right at close and grabbed it. This Sonic Youth, the Goo box set. I didn't have this record, so I was stoked to get the box, and it was a really great price. So one of my favorite Sonic Youth records. Here's a few that he's had in his glass case over the years in there, where he puts his rare stuff. Now, this is Scott Wishart's favorite band of all times. And every time you see him, he will tell you that this is the most important band to ever exist and his favorite. That is Maserati, and this is The Language of Cities. Great instrumental band from Athens, Georgia. This is their first full length. There was an EP before this. Yeah, and this is a very difficult original to find. And it is a double. And yeah, I love Maserati. Great band. Another favorite band from Portland, Oregon. This was Elliott Smith before he went solo. Heat Miser and Mike City Sons, an original first pressing of this in the original Shrink. I think their last album. Some great songs on here like Get Lucky and Low Flying Jets. Phenomenal stuff. One of the best bands to ever come out of Portland, in my opinion. Speaking of Elliott Smith, an OG first pressing of my favorite record of his, Either Or. A masterpiece of a record on Kill Rock Stars. Another favorite band, and you'll notice by the Trail of Dead and Worlds Apart, the only time I've ever seen this in a shop. Very difficult to find. Original on Interscope Records. Love this record. Epic opening track is always from this band. And this is a single sleeve double LP. We'll show you some of these labels, really cool custom labels. From Austin, Texas. What an epic band. They're retired now. They are playing a show coming up, a special show, I think some kind of anniversary show in Austin only. But yeah, this is a super hard record to find. And was a great price at the time. I think all these kind of records have gone way up in price since. One time I was in the shop and he had just got a collection in that was still in the back, and he said, I know you're going to want this one. He's always making recommendations. And yeah, this is a band I had filmed at Tremont back in the day when they were on this tour. This is a band from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Beloved Us and Failure On. Yeah, what is this on? Solid State, because I filmed the Solid State show. There was a bunch of Solid State bands. Great label at that time back in the day. Yeah, Joe Mustin on vocals and drums. Did a lot of screaming while playing the drums back there. A lot of guitars in this band. 3 guitars shredding. You know, kind of, I don't even know what you call this stuff back in the day. Emo heaviness. Yeah, Christian, real fucking heavy. Good stuff, Beloved Us. Here's some that's come off the wall. For a long time he didn't have a wall. It just wasn't his thing to have a wall of rare records. I think honestly after Noble started doing the Holy Moly wall thing, he decided to do it. That may or may not be true, but he started his Wonder Wall, he calls it. And I got an original of Soundgarden down on the upside. I think this was on there one record store day when he put out some rare used around it. Yeah, I had never had this one on vinyl, so collection he got in not too far back, maybe a year or so ago. I picked up an original of Swan's Filth. This one's on the Neutral label. These are hard to find. Always good jazz used in the bins, and you can always find steals on the jazz. An OG first Lexington press of 6 pieces of silver from Horace Silver Quintet, Blue Note 1539, with the windowed cover and the, yeah, $20. This place really good. These old Blue Notes are workhorses. There's your original Lexington label. Yeah, I kind of ran out of the store that night. I was thinking maybe there was missing a 0 on the price, or maybe a couple of zeros on the price. I don't know. I got out of there. Same with this. This was $30. This is an original first pressing of Eric Dolphy Conversations on the FM label. An incredible lineup on this one with Richard Davis, Clifford Jordan, Bobby Hutcherson, Eddie Kahn, Woody Shaw, Prince Lasha, Sonny Simmons, J.C. Moses, with Eric Dolphy. One of my favorite finds of all time at Lunchbox. He's had an amazing punk collection come in there. And I got a ton from that. I went 2 or 3 times and bought a ton of records when he got that punk collection in. One from the wall was this Conflict US Last Hour, a very, very rare punk record. Female-led, out of Arizona. Fantastic punk record. Great cover art. And then this was just in the bins, The Cramps, Bad Music for Bad People, on IRS. Not easy to find this. That's great rockabilly stuff. He's always been a big supporter of anything local, Charlotte-related releases. This is the most recent one that he always carries that stuff. This is a band that I used to go see at Tremont and at Fat City here in Charlotte back in the day. It Could Be Nothing. Lather Up and Splatter. One of the worst covers on a record of all time. But great, great band. Yeah. So this was from 1994. And I had moved here in 95, and they're one of the first bands I ever saw live in Charlotte. 2023, Ultramatic Publishing. Got this first time vinyl release, I believe, on Ultramatic Records. It's good stuff. One of my favorite things to do in Lunchbox Records is go through their 7-inches. They tend to always have fresh stock of used 7-inches. Not a lot of record stores in Charlotte have 7-inches at all, like that. As far as quantity and variety. This was one of the most recent ones from a year or so ago that I found, and I love finding stuff like this. The Rollins Band, I Know You on the A and Earache My Eye on the B on Sub Pop. This is from the Sub Pop Singles Club from 1990, and it's I love Rollins Band, anything Henry Rollins, and this is that pink vinyl. Just an example, and then of course, Record Store Day. Anything I can't get on that day. I used to go to Lunchbox specifically on Record Store Day, and then the lines just got overwhelming, which is a good thing for Scott. I mean, he moves product in there, and RSD knows it. I think that's why he always gets all the stuff. But he had a couple that I didn't get at Repo, and because he does the online thing for the locals, the next day from 8 to 7, it's local pickup only. I just went up there and grabbed these and congratulated him on 20 years of ridding me of all my money in my bank account. This is, I don't even know how this guy's first name is pronounced. This is a really good label. They specialize in some rare spiritual jazz and free jazz and that kind of stuff. And that's the Love and Hate Ubiquity Recordings label. And this originally came out in 1980. It's a very rare private pressing. This is Longinu Parsons. I'm not sure how his first name said. And I have not really listened to much of this online. But yeah, I guess recorded in some of it in Switzerland in 81, some in Paris earlier maybe. I don't know. Interesting stuff. I got to get into this. I just walked in the door with it. But yeah, for RSD, anything that label is putting out, they did the Black Renaissance record, the Pharaohs record, maybe even some of the Pyramid stuff. Yeah, great label. So that's just should be some great jazz. Looks like the liner notes were done by Nat Adderley. Yeah, very cool release. And I don't know if it's any kind of special. I think it's just regular black vinyl. We'll show you the labels. Yeah, just kept it real simple, like a private pressing. The labels. Nice piece of vinyl and a nice insert. anti-static sleeve, you know, really cool. And then last but not least, one of my favorite bands of all time and one of my favorite albums of all time. What We All Come to Need from Pelican out of Chicago, the great instrumental heavy band. It's on Southern Lord. They repackaged this record into 3 LP. It's gray, RSD exclusive, limited edition that includes the ephemeral LP as well. It's more of an EP. It's 3 songs. They added that on here. They took off, I think, the extra tracks on the original vinyl release of this and then put in ephemeral in its place, really. And my favorite record of Pelicans for a long time was City of Echoes. But this one's grown on me. It's now my number one. And Logan will back me up on that. Up in Chicago. Yeah. Fantastic stuff. And of course, Final Breath, the final track on What We All Come to Need, is probably my favorite Pelican song, and oddly includes vocals from Alan Epley from The Life and Times. They couldn't have picked a better person to collaborate with. He ended up doing, I think, one more song with them on another EP. But yeah, very happy to get a nice copy of this, even though it is definitely not needed. I have this in multiple forms. But yeah, congrats to Scott and everybody there at Lunchbox on 20 years. Hopefully another 20 more. Peace.